Law enforcement agencies are struggling with two big issues, recruitment and retention. Both, I think, hinge on the word that I pitched earlier, that word being perception, as in public perception. Kevin Lawrence suggested during our interview that the defunding debate could change if social activists take part in police training programs like what we just saw. A walk in my shoes kind of approach. Stephen, Dallas recently increased its police budget while adding special teams for mental health 911 calls. Has that made a difference?
It will make a difference. And to answer the first part of you saying the defunding part, I think that was something back in 2020. I don't think anyone's still talking about defunding now. There are different groups that are talking about reallocating funds, and just because you move funds around doesn't mean you're trying to not give police officers the resources that they need. With that said, there are specialized teams in North Texas and across the state that are out there. But the thing is, sometimes some of these officers are responding to incidents where the person may fire their gun before the team gets out there. I know we had an example of that last year here in North Texas where there was a mental health team that was dispatched, but the incident was already over before they got there. So yes, that is a resource that can help, but keep in mind, every shooting, every incident isn't a mental health call, and so there's multiple layers to this onion.
Yeah, and every call out is certainly very different. Houston's new mayor, John Whitmire, said it's too hard to join their police force there in Houston. He has promised to increase pay as a way to increase staffing levels. But Greg, social reform advocates there in Houston, I understand, want more police alternatives like what Stephen was talking about, crisis diversion teams. How's that discussion going?
Rudy, improving public safety dwarfed every other issue in our recent city elections. And even in this post-George Floyd world we are living in, voters see more police as the fundamental answer to reducing crime. The trouble is, fewer and fewer young people view law enforcement as an attractive profession. A combination of the protracted police demonization campaign by the decarceration left, the marginal pay offered in many departments, and frankly, in my view, a shift away from serving society and toward serving oneself. Now, here in Houston, the nation's fourth largest city, the police force is actually smaller than it was 8 years ago, when then Mayor Sylvester Turner pledged to add 1,000 police officers. That never even came close to happening, in part because waves of older officers have chosen retirement over what they viewed as the hyper scrutiny involved when every incident is recorded by body cam and critically reviewed, leaving little room for error. In short, the job is in many ways harder and more unforgiving than ever. Here and elsewhere, augmenting officers with mental health workers is fine, but viewing them as a significant replacement is a notion doomed to failure, in my opinion, in a society with 500 million firearms in circulation and far too many people willing to use them.
Yeah, and just trying to keep pace with the retirements and the people who are leaving. You know, you can do, academy classes now, but that still just isn't keeping pace. You know, in response to the Uvalde school shooting, the governor signed a bill last year requiring all law enforcement officers to go through an active shooter class. It's an every 2-year class at the Alert Center at San Marcos. Lawrence suggested if small departments can't pay for more training, maybe they shouldn't exist. Stephen, that sounds harsh, but I got to agree with that. A lack of training causes big mistakes. Maybe states should pick up the training cost.
Yeah, I mean, everyone needs training, and I don't think, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, I don't think anyone's going to say that officers shouldn't receive more training. Now, active shooting training at schools is something totally different than officers' day-to-day interactions with active shooters that may be in unique circumstances. As for who fits the bill, that's going to be a political football. Everyone wants some money from the state. I don't know if they'll get it.
Yeah, it's all about the money, right? All about the Benjamins. You know, there's small towns like Kyle, south of Austin. You know, they're upgrading, adding more pay, but other towns just don't have the revenue. So, Greg, I'm going to throw this question to you. We got a state budget surplus. In your conversations with lawmakers, what's likely next session? More debate on scholarship giveaways or more money for police?
Well, Rudy, I think we all know the battle over school choice is not going to go away as long as the governor is the governor. That said, we saw substantial subsidies for rural Texas departments championed this past session by Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and I would expect more of the same, certainly as long as the Mexican drug cartels continue to slam drugs and people through the Lone Star State.
All right, that's a 10-3 end of discussion for this issue. You can see the interview and all our interviews, past interviews, by going to our YouTube pages.
Visit our social media sites to continue the conversation.
And the Fox Texas Trio will be back next week with another hot topic. Be sure to let us know what you think the issue is.